It's wonderful to see a full house here. It reminds me of Basuda's films. When I was growing up, there was this little theatre called Akashvani, not too far from here. And I used to go there as a young girl, and it used to be packed. And most of them were all these middle of the road cinema that we call them. So it's wonderful to be here. And I have two uh, people here who know more about him than I do. I unfortunately had just one occasion to meet him, and that was to speak about Rajnigandha. And I remember that he spoke very little, and most of the time he was looking away from me, long silences. I didn't know whether it was time for me to go or not, but then he would come up with a gem. I'm not going to speak too much about him because these two gentlemen will tell you more about him. But Rajnigandha, I remember that I had spoken to Dinesh Thakur, and he had told me how after this film, he became a superstar like Amitabh Bachchan. And he was flooded with proposals from girls who were really sad that Vidya Sinha's character had opted for Amol Palekar and not him. So he said it kind of made up for the disappointment of losing the girl. And just before she passed away, I managed to speak to Vidya ji. She was still working in a serial at the time. And I remember it was evening. And I spoke to her about Rajnigandha, and she said that, it made me a star, and I didn't know how, because the film celebrated a silver jubilee. And she said, I was on my way to the gym from Dadar to Mahim. My gym was in Mahim, and I was walking past Plaza Cinema, and there was a long queue, and I was wondering, these guys, which movie have they come to see? And suddenly someone pointed to me and said, "Ye dekho, Rajnigandha ki heroine." And people started running after her, and she said, I dived into a cab and I made a quick getaway. And she said, after that, I never got to walk on the streets, I was never able to have pani puri. I couldn't go out shopping because everyone knew about Rajnigandha. So to start with, I would like to ask Anirudh, was she the first choice for the film? Because we can't imagine Rajnigandha without her.
Well, it's a complicated story, kind of a merry-go-round. You see, Rajnigandha, it was initially planned with Amitabh Bachchan as Sanjay, Sharmila Tagore as Deepa, and Shashi Kapur as Naveen.
Mainstream cinema.
Amitabh was still not a superstar. Nobody knew him. And he was fine with the role. Sharmila too was fine with the role. Shashi Kapur said, look, I'm a star, right? I know you're a small filmmaker, so you might not be able to they give me lots of money, but you should sell the film at the rate of a Shashi Kapur film. So Basuda, he shied away from there. And then he started changing the cast. Amitabh Bachchan, he got replaced by Amol Palekar, right? Shashi Kapur, he was planning to take Shomit Bhonjo. I believe all of you remember Shamit, Shamit Bhonjo from Goody. And he got in Aparna. Like he flew down to Kolkata. He flew down to Kolkata to offer the role to Aparna Sen. Aparna Sen said, look, Basuda, it's a very simple story. It's not convincing at all. I won't like to do this film. So he came back, worried that he had spent so much of money. Those days, flights, And then he approached Mallika Sarabhai. Now, Mallika Sarabhai said yes, and then suddenly changed her mind. He said, no, I have got my MBA exams. She was with the IMA, Super Cat. And then Aparna Sen, she saw the film Piya Ka Ghar, and was impressed. अरे ये तो अच्छा film है यार. Oh. And she came down to Mumbai to shoot Sagina. She met Basuda. Basuda, I would like to do the film. And he offered her a Fiat car. He told me the exact amount. It was 32,000 then. And he said, okay, I have this new boy, Omal Palekar, and somebody you know, Shomit Bhanjo. No, look, Basuda, I don't want to work with Shomit Bhanjo. God knows why. And then he thought that सबको निकाल देंगे. And then he took Amol Palekar. He had seen a photo of your Vidya Sena in a magazine. By the time...
Some ad.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Some ad.
yeah, yeah, some ad. And by that time, Vidya had already done a film, a terrible film, Raja Kaka. You can't sit through the film. So he was not concerned about that. And he went to Rakesh Pandey at one of the studios. I forget. Rooptara Studios, yes. So Rakesh Pandey at that time was shooting for the film Intezar. कि बासुदा ये कितने दिनों का काम है कि 2 हफ्ते का होगा तो 2 हफ्ता तो can you delay the shooting? He said, no boss, I cannot. And that is how Dinesh Thakur, he joined the team. So almost 6 months or 8 months after the film, it was originally conceived and the cast, it was finalized.
What a story.
Story in itself, yeah.
The story itself.
Yeah, yeah. So, Rajit, we've seen many Bhomkesh Bakshis over the years, but the way, you know, when you think of Feluda, you think of only Soumitra Chatterjee. The same way, when you think of Bhomkesh, you think of you. This is something that anybody and everybody would say. When you went to meet him, when he called you, did you expect to land that role? From what little I know.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Actually, you know, my name was suggested to him by Shujit Sen,
Okay. Right.
who's a very well-known screenwriter. And I played Michael Madhusudan Dutt in a series called Yugantar. And that's how Sujit Sen contacted Basuda, because I didn't know that he was looking for someone to play Bhomkesh. This conversation I got to know about much, much later. So I went to meet him, and I don't think it was more than 10 minutes. There was a whole pile of all the episodes. So he had already worked on the Hindi translation, so planned. All the stories were ready, the scripts. And I don't think it took more than 10 minutes. I still didn't know. He said, here, these are the stories. There are 33. We may break it into 2 parts, because at that time, Doordarshan was commissioning 13-part series, but we had 33. So I think we shot 13 first and then 20 over. And also it was shot not episode-wise. We shot location-wise like a film. One thing I learned from this man was budgeting and economics. So I remember that first month of May. Okay, to come back to the exact question that you asked, is that it didn't take more than 10 minutes. And he said, you'll be doing this.
Okay.
And I know that he had watched 1 or 2 episodes of Yugantar based on what Shujita had told him. So I thought I would be playing the assistant.
Oh, okay.
So he says, no, you're playing the Bhomkesh. So I said, then who's playing my assistant? And K.K. Raina was a much senior actor, whom I still respect. And I said, but no, Dada, he is much older, he should play, I'll play assistant. And I remember telling KK that on the phone. I said, KK, you are a senior actor, you should play the Bhomkesh, and I'm the younger. And he's saying, idiot आदमी है तुमको lead role मिल रहा है, तुम ये बोल रहे हैं तुम. So, and it was very short and sweet. Something must have clicked. His only question was, Dekho, beta, my Hindi is maybe not so. Your Hindi is good? I said, yes, Dada. So that kaki and all, you make the corrections in the script. And I had all the 33 episodes with me at one go. So don't ask me too many questions on the set. Whatever you want to ask, you read everything, make your notes and ask me. And that he stuck to. If we ask too many questions on the set, he says, "Ye homework karke aana tha." Don't I am now, because he used to be then focusing on the frames. And many times he operated the camera also. You would tell him, "Hey, Prabhakar, tu baith ja udhar." Camera. You to chai pee raha hai, time nahi hai, waste nahi. Never wasting time. We would always, that time we had 9 o'clock shifts. By 9:15 we were rolling. Always. And that first schedule was in a place called Kapur Bungalow, which has been broken down in Warsaw. The entire month of May, we shot all my house scenes. So I still have a habit of writing my own continuity. And the assistants would then check with my script whether for all my costume continuity and all, so that used to circulate, and I said I want it back. Because I had to keep changing my kurta and my makeup, because we had worked out the age, from 24 to about 46 or so, what we had created in the graph for Bhumkesh. So all those notes were on my episodes and my script as to what age I am, whether I have the specs. Boot polish would go into my hair. That time we had those Bata boot polish, and that is what we used to use on my hair to grey my hair. And it was so hot. So for KK and me, lunch used to be ice cream across the road. Sancha still exists. Now the son looks after, and it is the only fresh natural ice cream in Bombay which does not use preservatives. Even today when you buy ice cream from Sancha, he says it will not last more than 3 days. And I still am a die-hard fan of Sancha ice cream in Warsaw, thanks to Bhumkesh. So in our dhoti kurta, we would quickly run across the street. Basuda would not give more than half an hour lunch break. We would sit there on those cane chairs, have 2 ice creams, and then they'd shout across, come on, Basuda is shouting, come back quickly. Sorry, one can go on and on, but to come back to you.
Yeah. I was wondering... Sorry.
Just a minute. In this context, I have something more to say. So anybody and everybody who's not diabetic, now you know where to get your ice cream from. Number 2, regarding the role of Bhumkesh, I believe like many of you here might have heard the name of Bhanu Banerjee,
Yes.
the very famous comedian in Bengal. So his son told me that Basuda said, Gautam, I have found the ideal face to play Bhumkesh, and I do not want to delay it. I want to start it immediately.
Oh,
Yes.
that's interesting, very interesting. Rajit, all of us have one Bhumkesh story, which is our favorite. Which is yours?
Without question, my favorite is Cycle Ki Ghanti, which I think was episode 2 or 3.
2.
Number 2, I think.
Yeah.
Because, even when reading it, you're glued, because the scripts were so simple. But for me, it was fascinating, that whole Cycle Ki Ghanti episode. That was my favorite.
Okay. Anirudh, I know that, his films, there were certain films which picked up slowly. They weren't like, at that time, most films, they took their time to kind of get people in. Was there any such film that kind of started slow and then went on to become a silver jubilee?
Yeah, there was one. I believe like most of you might have seen the film Swami. Right, Girish Kanad, Shabana Azmi. It's a wonderful film. It's one of the best recreations of a story by Sarachandra Chatterjee. Now Swami was, as you know, I can see my friend Juhi here. Just to introduce Juhi, many of you, you would know, Brahma would know, must have heard of Ishan Ghosh. Juhi is his granddaughter. Okay, to come back to Swami. So the production controller of the film was Indra Kumar Bahal. Indra Kumar Bahal's son, all of you know. Have you seen Hum Kisi Se Kam Nahi? The child who sings Kya Hua Tera Vad, like his father. So I.K. Bahal at that time, he was functioning as Hema Malini's secretary. And Swami was produced by Hema Malini's mother. Right. And Swami had to be released hurriedly because a hall was coming up in the road where the area belonged to Seat Tires. And they had objected कि यहाँ पर hall wall नहीं करना है. And Swami, it was released on a Wednesday. Normally, like films release on Fridays, right? So Tuesday, like there was a grand opening. Dharmender was there, Hema Malini was there. I saw that like photo, like it was all over screen. Wednesday there was nobody. क्या film है Swami? Who's this guy? Girish Kanad और वो कौन है? Vikram. Vikram was still not. Vikram was basically like one film hero, then Julie, right? And Shabana was still like not the Shabana she would become, right? First day, 4 आदमी गए थे देखने. महा मारपीट नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है, ये क्या लगा दिया है फिल्म. Second day same, third day same. Now, like Jaya Chakrabarti was growing impatient, so Mr. Bahal, what he did, वो होता है ना houseboat, like houseful sign, वो लगा दिया वहाँ पर. Now, Rajshri, they were distributing the film, and they said, no, this is not right, this is not ethical. And Mr. Bahal said, sir, give me 1 week. After a week, if this film does not run, you do whatever you like. 1 week may word of mouth, like Brahmanand's splendid film on Adi, simply by like word of mouth, it spread. And on the 7th day, it was houseful. It was really houseful. And then to Swami.
I have one more question. What about Chichur? That also warmed up gradually because of the music.
Yeah.
The songs were very good, and then suddenly it became a hit.
Yeah, yeah. It became a super hit.
Yeah,
It became
super
a
hit.
Super hit.
But it started very lukewarm.
Yeah.
But the songs and then huge hit, I mean.
Yeah.
While we are on Chichor, I always wondered about Zarina because I think she's looked really beautiful in that film. And I wondered whether she was wearing makeup or not. This
not
is
at all.
something which, as a woman, you would want to know.
Not at all.
Okay.
Look, like she would normally try to, like, put on some lipstick, some kajal, and Basuda would come.
Yeah, my God.
काजल लगाया पोंछ डालो
Yeah, but he was doing that all the time, even during Bhumkesh, because there were lots of women who came from Calcutta who were part of the series, and he would closely, exactly what he did just now. Hey, shh, pota pote, no makeup.
No makeup.
Even in Sara Akash, तो उसमें तो
Even
कुछ था ही
Bindya
नहीं.
also, I think Bindya had told me that she also, he didn't allow her to put any lipstick. She said I has to sneak away and put lipstick, and he would say, remove. So,
And I've seen shootings of very reputed filmmakers, I won't take the name, where I have found the hero wearing lots of makeup at times more than the heroine.
yeah. Rajit,
Go name the film.
Basudas was known for his very gentle and very unique sense of humor. Tell us a little bit about this.
He had a very childlike prankster kind of humor, and his trademark was this handkerchief of his. So while even operating the camera, he was watching from. Many times he would not go behind the monitor. That time the whole, monitor thing had begun. He would like to be there either just next to the cameraman. And suddenly in the middle of the take, you could hear some giggle, and I'm like wondering what happened. It was him. He would try to control it by putting his handkerchief in his mouth. And that handkerchief would fall 20 times on the floor. Again, he'd pick it up and put it in his mouth. And I said, Dada, please don't do that. All that dirty, dusty thing in your putting it in your mouth. But he had all these kind of sounds would come. And, there was a very tongue-in-cheek kind of humor. And I think that's evident in his work.
In his work, yeah.
Very simple. It was not something complicated. But it's to do with everyday, chores or everyday things in life, whether it's related with the teacup or whether with the doorbell or simple stuff. And it was a situation that would create the humor. And sometimes you would make a mistake in the rehearsal and he'd say, no, you do put the cup, throw it away and all,
We usually think of Subhash Ghai as the Desi Hitchcock. He always made an appearance in all his films and you had to spot where he... But Basuda also did that. He had a cameo in all his films.
Basuda
and which was, Anirudh, tell us, which was his most famous cameo?
Look, Basuda's first cameo happened in his first film, Sara Akash. It was a 10-second long one. He's not there in Piya Ka Ghar,
yes,
right? He is there in Choti Si Baat, in a blink and miss. He's standing at a station in Chitchor. Like he has a line of dialogue in your Safed Jhoot. He is seen from the backside in Baaton Baaton Mein. But I believe all of you have seen Jalwa with Javed Khan like, chasing with a chappal.
Yeah, and that's
the taxi.
The taxi.
Yeah, the taxi
and
one.
there, the taxi, Rajni, got the cabbies very, very angry.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Rajni. Was Priya Tendulkar always Rajni?
No. Actually, he had shot Rajni like based on the sitcom I Love Lucy, and he had shot a few episodes with Padmini Kolhapure at the helm.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then she found a style of like working like quite disturbing. Ariyar, every week like this, I won't do this. So he had to change the story, like change the style, and give the lady a lady Amitabh Bachchan kind of a role. And he had also considered actresses, if I am not wrong, Bindya. Bindya Goswami.
Bindya Goswami.
Yeah, Bindya Goswami. And this Bharti Archarekar, she wanted to do the role, but he was firm. I'll take her. I'll take Priya
But was
Tendulkar.
Moushami ever considered?
Yes. So, yes, sorry, I forgot this.
Okay.
You're right.
Because this I had heard from somewhere that Moushami
yes,
was
yes.
considered.
Right.
But of course, we can't think of anyone but Priya in that role.
In fact, I met Moushami today morning only. I forgot to ask her this.
Okay. Rajit, you must have got a lot of people coming and talking to you about Byomkesh. Which was anything that you particularly recall offhand at the moment?
As the young lady mentioned, that it actually made me a household name.
Yes.
And I'll share one or two instances with you because it was a Thursday 9 p.m. slot. And I did not realize its popularity until one or two incidents had happened. One which is very clear in my mind is, I remember going to the chemist down the road and I knew he was open till 9 o'clock. But at 8:40 he was putting the shutter down and I said, no, please wait, I need this. He's saying, kya baat kar rahe hai? 9 baje aapka program aane wala. But put the shutter down.
This
he
is
didn't
wonderful.
give me this stuff. So I was like, oh my God. I mean, that when it hit me that it's really popular, that even the chemist is not waiting for 20 minutes because he wants to be home to see it at 9 o'clock. The other thing was that somebody from, I think, Dainik Jagran during the interviews gave my office address in the UP newspapers. So that's when the strange kind of fan mail started, ranging from photographs of women with marriage proposals to various love letters. But there used to be people writing from villages requesting me to come and solve their family issues.
Oh my God.
And that was very unnerving because with my assistant's help, I would reply to a lot of these, उस समय वो yellow postcards होते थे, तो वो आते थे ज़्यादातर चिट्ठियाँ, inland, blue वाले, a lot of those. But when I used to read some of the problems that people were facing and which were genuine problems, it was very difficult for me to explain in writing that this is not my profession,
Yes.
that I'm an actor. And that I found very tough.
Yeah.
In Kolkata particularly, I had a very strange experience that I remember because I am regularly involved with theatre. So in Baliganj was where the Birla Auditorium is and we were staying somewhere close by and I'm very fond of walking. So I found that somebody is following me. तो मैं थोड़ा सा पहले घबरा गया and then I stopped at one signal in the चौराहा and then I caught the person, I said, what are you doing? क्या? किधर? He says, मैं देख रहा हूँ कि आप कौन सा केस सॉल्व करने जा रहे हैं.
Had I been at the drugstore, in your place, and the drug wala refusing to give me medicine, मैं कहता give me the medicine first, else I'll tell you आज के serial में खूनी कौन है.
Okay, when I came in, I looked out and I saw the train. You can see the train. And one film which, really gave us a view into Mumbai's life on the train, on the local train, was Batu Batu Mein. So I know that I've been into many of those trains and the kind of experiences. But Basuda, did he travel? Did this film reflect his own experiences on the train?
Yes. And to internalize the same, I also got into a train today at Churchgate, and I came to Andheri, first class.
The first class you can't take. You have to get into the general compartment.
नहीं, उतना हिम्मत था नहीं. But yeah, Basuda told me this wonderful story. Look, I was staying at Borivali, and I was working with Blitz. I used to travel from Borivali to Blitz to Churchgate daily on a local train, and in the local train you have 3 seats, right, one side, and I was always the 4th guy pushing the 3rd guy. Bhaiya, always that. So in my film, Bato Mein, where I recreated that ride, Omol would be sitting exactly like that. And how they shot the film. They hired a train from 11 o'clock to 4 o'clock. It would start at Churchgate, end up at Dahisar, again go back, and they completed the entire sequence in 3 days. This is mind-boggling, given that one Hindi song takes, I think, 4 weeks to complete.
Yeah.
80% of the film was complete in 3 days.
And Amol's beard is very...
And that was
Mario
Miranda.
Mario.
Mario Miranda.
Right. Yeah, amazing. Rajit, have you ever solved a case?
For friends. But that's, I don't think there's really much to talk about there, because it would only be, you know, the analytical part of me that would come, okay, you've misplaced this, so where were you last? You know, things like that, but not really a case.
Okay.
Although people still think I solve cases, but that's not true.
This is obviously a role which has given you a lot of satisfaction. If anyone were to come to you today and say that, you know, I would like to make Byomkesh, would you do it?
I don't think so, because, you know, people, every year somebody says, do it again. But I said, what do you mean do it again? It's been done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there will always be new interpretations. There will always be new actors attempting. It's like Devdas will continue to be made. You know, it's a classic and different people will approach it in a different manner. So I've never been against it. People think, oh, you must be feeling bad. This one is playing Byomkesh. I said, why should I feel bad? Because it's another director or another actor's interpretation. And there will be many more to come. So that has never bothered me. But to do it again, the only time I attempted it is I did a cameo in a series called Tripling, where they wanted to, because I knew the writer really well, and Sumit says that we want to show if Byomkesh was alive today, what would he be doing? So he wrote a few pages and shared it with me, and I thought it was fun. That, you know, here he's aged and he doesn't have work, but jo kehte hain na, keeda abhi tak hai to solve something. So that was just an appearance I did without us mentioning that he's Byomkesh, but it was very obvious, you know.
Yeah. Anirudh, I know that Choti Si Baat was based on a book. How much of the book did he follow?
It was actually like based on 2 films.
Okay.
School for
Sorry, not
school,
book, I meant
yeah, like
film.
School
Yeah.
for Scoundrels.
Yes.
They kept seeing the film. That is one. Another is The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. And the script is more or less on the same lines, but the treatment is completely different. It is very, very Indian, rather very Bengali. So, and this is one of the very few films where the adaptation is far superior to the original one.
But I believe B.R. Chopra ji, he didn't like the film.
Right, like what happened after B.R. Chopra ji saw the rushes, he said, Basu, what film have you made? It won't even run for 1 day. Look, I'm giving you some money, you reshoot the entire film, and here is the film School for Scoundrels. Now luckily, at that time, B.R. Chopra, he was going to some Dehradun or Simla for 3-4 weeks. Basu coolly took the money and he completed the film, the fringes, dubbing and all, and he released it. That is the reason in the initial prints, the BR Films logo, it was missing.
Okay.
And the film became a super hit. B.R. Chopra, he returned. He sent no, he did not return. Like from Simla or Dehradun, he sent a telegram. Happy. Proven wrong.
Oh, nice. How nice, really. Rajit, I believe that your last meeting with him, you took a poster of your film, of his film to him. Which one was this?
I think it was Chitchor. You know, I used to also be part of an auction house for about 12 to 15 years. And other than paintings, they started auctioning film posters.
Okay.
So at the end of the auction, when I would realize that people are not buying these, I would go and buy a lot of them. I remember I bought some old posters of Devanand, Shami Kapoor. And these 2-3 things, like this was, I think it was Chichor, if I'm not mistaken. And I bought it and I said, I must give it to Basu. I don't know whether he has it. Pata nahi, mujhe chaska laga hai. I just said, I'm buying it. And I was totally shocked and surprised. He said, where did you get this from? I said, that's another story. Then I told him the story and he was very touched.
Oh, nice.
I want to ask the audience here a question. I believe most of you have seen Choti Si Baat, and many of you have seen Choti Si Baat when it was originally released. I know Brahmanand has seen, Joydeep has seen, Vivendu? Acha. So, like Choti Si Baat, the length of the film, it was short. So, the cinema hall, the theatre owners, they had to combine it with a documentary. Anybody remembers the documentary? I know because I have seen that. It was a documentary on Madan Mohan. Yes. The reason I remember, because before that, I had no clue about who this guy was. And then I became a huge fan.
So that was the films division?
Yes, yes. Badly made.
Okay. Yasudas, his name is synonymous with some of Basuda's. So tell us, how did he get Basuda? And now a lot of you would know that he's a very good singer. So you can sing us something from one of his
I'll do
films.
that. But Yasudas, see, Basu Bhattacharya, he was making a film called Oshamapto Kobita, which roughly translates into unfinished poem, right? And like most of his films, this also remained unfinished. Now Yesudas had sung a song, which is the Hindi version my Bengali friends would know. Gane Bhubon Bhuriye Debo, Rajini sung by Shyamol Mitro.
Yeah.
And that is where Basuda heard him sing. Now Salil Chaudhary, he was very fond of Yesudas. I want to use him in Choti Si Baat, Janeman, Janeman. And ये तो बहुत अच्छा गाता है. So let's use him for one song in Chit Chor. So he recorded Gori Tera Gaon Bada Pyara. And then the Rajshri people, let's use him for all the songs.
Okay, let's have a song from you now.
Let's have the song at the last.
Okay, let's have some questions then. I'm sure all of you would have something to ask. Yes.
Yeah, so basically something which has always struck me about Basuda is ability to get producers, as in like practically any production house which produces movies in Bollywood has actually produced like B.R. Chopra, Prakash Mehra, Nav Ketan, like he's practically produces every production house which would take an outside director. So, and also NFDC, Doordarshan, sir. So shows a certain kind of resourcefulness, and how did he like go about getting producers or the money for his movies?
Sir? Look, the reverse is true. Rather, the converse is true. Producers wanted him. The main reason is that he was a producer's director. He never wasted the producer's money.
That's what economics. He would always make his product, film, whatever, in probably 10% less than what was given. And in that sense, what sir is saying, that he was a producer's director, he would make it a point. He would say, okay, X, I will make it in X minus Y. The producer would be very happy. I'm saving 5 lakhs or whatever it may be. And he would do it. And and I've experienced that. Because he was number one. And the reason for that is planning also. He was prepared at 9 in the morning of what he wanted to do. Of course, as an actor, he would give me leeway and, open to suggestion. But he know that I have to finish these 4 scenes today, then those 4 scenes would be done today. And if something would linger on, that okay, we can't finish this, there's half a scene to be shot tomorrow, and we also have 4 scenes the next day, then the next day those 4.5 scenes would be done. So you're actually saving the producer's money by making sure that your film is made on schedule. So you're actually saving the producer's money. Sir, please.
Yeah, Vivendu, can you kindly stand up? I cannot see you. Yeah. So, can you guess the budget for Swami? 11 lakhs. The budget for Shaukin. Shaukin had so many stars, and it was the 80s. 18 lakhs. 18 lakhs mein Shaukin, yaar. This is beyond imagination. So that was the...
And he used to also finish his films before time. I think
Yes,
before schedule.
Yeah, even with Bomkesh, he agreed that he saved so much money because we finished well on time. And I must say, he gave us actors credit. He says, you always know your lines, Rajit, and that saved me a lot of time. But I had to give him that credit. Say, but Dada, you're also planned. You know what you want to do. So it's a give and take. And because of that, sometimes, I think that first schedule, we saved 9 days of shooting.
Yes.
That's huge for a producer. So if you translate that onto the films he's made, as what he's saying, the producer is happy. You save X number of days into whatever that day cost is. They would be happy. Please make our next film also. Here's the next amount.
I don't think I don't think he did more than a month shooting for any of his films. All
Don't think
20
so.
days.
No.
20 days.
Saraka, she completed the full shooting in 23 days. His first film. Even Amit Khanna told me this, that Basuda had started his film Manpasand, right? Now, like Devanand is was a very famous star, and he was simultaneously acting in many films, also making his own films, some of them extremely horrible films, like Lootmar. And at that time, Tina, she was also shooting in Desh Pardesh, and then Lootmar, and then Karz. So, this was getting delayed. So he found a gap of a month, and in a month he completed Baaton Baaton Mein.
Oh.
That's quite amazing.
I also remember him telling me at one point, of course, after we had finished shooting Bomkesh, that I do not want to work with any this
No
star
stars.
things. And I said, why? They waste so much of time. I don't have so much of time. Very simple answer. So I'm very happy, and therefore he did a lot of stuff with Rakesh Roshan. He says, oh, Dharmendra Hema Malini ka karke dekha main dekha wo dil lagi. No, what he says, ho gaya. I can't work. What time waste hota mera.
He was also extremely upset with Rajesh Khanna because Rajesh Khanna himself was making the film Chakravyuh, 39 steps. Because you na. So Rajesh Khanna, late Latif, the schedule starts at 7. He used to come at 11. And on many days, he would not land up also, right?
Yes.
But this is something great about Rajesh Khanna, that the crew would know that the star is not coming through the like a vendor, the lunch boy. So Rajesh Khanna is not there, but he would arrange great lunch for everybody. So the crew is there on the road 7 o'clock. बैठा हुआ है 1 o'clock the lunch vendor comes, sir खाना खा पी के 2 बजे शिफ्ट बंद.
Okay. Anyone else?
So like his when many of his films which would pick up quite late. He himself was a late bloomer, isn't it? Like 40 years or so.
Yeah,
his
yeah.
first film was 44.
Yeah, yeah.
Something like that.
Yes, he was 42 at the time.
40, yeah. So what are the first 40 years like? Where did the roots take shape?
Look, it's a very good question. And I do not remember, I was telling somebody, unlike Rishikesh Mukherjee or Gulzar, who are like basically from the same school, he never had a godfather. He did not have a Bimal Roy. Yes. So he wanted to like make films from the 50s, but he struggled. A simple clerk in Blitz, or Saath freelancing for your Free Press journal, studying a lot of like foreign films, Czech films, East European films, Japanese films, and then editing the magazine Close Up for the your Film Society Film Forum. So he had to learn, like really grovel and learn the hard way. Yes, on the job.
And once he started, I think he went on for, I mean, 75, 75. Yeah,
Relentless, it's very fast.
very fast.
And I would sometimes say that, Dada, let's do it this differently. And I said, दूसरा सीन भी करने का हो गया अच्छा है come next चलो. You know a person who would mimic him really well, he's no more. Senior actor A.K. Hangal. Hangal साहब को बोलते Hangal साहब जरा एक बासुदा, he would, how the hanky would fall, how he'd pick it up. Hangal साहब would do a complete Basuda.
So the way he saw Bombay actually became a character in most of his movies, and especially I think Bandra. The way he picturized the roads and the gullies of Bandra was like so visual. So a little about on that, like the way he saw Bombay, the way Bombay came alive in his films, a little on that. Yes.
Yeah,
the
Bombay.
trains, the trains, the buses, the the localities, the people of Bandra. It was also visual in front of a person who has never even probably visited Bombay. So little on that, please.
Unfortunately, I know nothing of Bombay, so I cannot help.
But he used to live in car and he used to walk the streets himself. So what we see in his films, from whatever little I know, that during his morning walks and all, his CNS here would capture all this which we see in different films. वो खार की गलियों में घूमते रहते थे.
Also, this adds to the whole visual storytelling. It's almost in most of his films, all his films, कि create नहीं किया है कैमरे के लिए, जहाँ है वहाँ कैमरा रख दिया. So there was no set.
Yeah, right. Outdoor shooting, yes.
Really so distinct and real, and therefore this so mini cars, middle of the road, very Doordarshan,
Especially in the film, as you said, in the film Bato Mein, which I also called Banton Mein. It starts with a visual panorama. You see the shops, the good old beanie old textiles and all, and then you see that church. So I came to know, okay, this place is called Bandra.
But Rajat was saying, like in a film you can understand, you do location-wise. But in a serial to do location-wise,
Yes.
it's quite
And
demanding for
yes,
one
it is
person.
demanding, and it was demanding for me, but today that has been my biggest learning from Bomkesh. That now it's ingrained in my system. When somebody is doing location wise and I'm working on film, I've been used to it because of Bomkesh. So it just comes to me. I know exactly how to make my notes for location.
Demanding from the actor.
Yes.
From the actor.
Yeah, but he was very clear. He said, no, I know. But his saving, you see the economics of it. So from episode 1 to 20, we did all, as I mentioned, in Kapur Bungalow of all his house scenes. And then people don't believe it that we only shot in Kolkata for 7 days in total. And all I did in Kolkata was entering the street, entering the door, leaving the door, changing the jacket, changing the kurta, continuity, check the continuity. I was only doing that for 5 days. Because of Basuda, I had the good fortune to work with Utpal Dutt, episode 3 or 4. One day I had the chance of working with that great legend, and I still salute him. And
It
I had
was his
that
last role, I
opportunity.
think.
I also had the chance of working with Robbie Ghosh.
Yes.
That was also one day. So there was one day with Robbie Ghosh, one day with Utpal Da, 4 days of just entries and exits of all the episodes. And one more day was just pack shots, which he wanted of Kolkata and things in passing here and there. And then they were slapped onto all the episodes.
But I'd like to know that when you were shooting during the day, I believe 2 hours you would be 20, in your 20s. The next 2 hours you would be in your 40s. Was it something like that?
Sometimes. But there he would help me. I would say, Dada, let's do this after lunch because I have to put boot polish and all. Don't make me do it now. So he'd understand, but he would understand, that I'm helping him save time. Because otherwise I told him, I need half an hour. No. We'll do it after lunch. So because I would make my notes of continuity, I knew that, oh my God, now episode 2 is jumping to episode 14 and I've got this and what is next after lunch. So he'd switch things around. That way he was very fast and quick in terms of decision. Some location was cancelled or something, the plan B he would think within 5 minutes. Change the wall, reverse the angle, वो गांधी का photo हटाओ, लक्ष्मी सरस्वती लगा दो, cupboard निकाल के sideboard डाल दो, and nobody knows. It's the same wall. That was something that I learned from him. On his feet, he would work out a solution. No time to shift. 2 hours. Are you mad? He would say, pagal hai. नहीं, 2 घंटा नहीं है. Scene done.
This one's for Anirudha. Anirudha, here. Your earlier books are all about musicians and music and all that. What made you choose Basuda as a subject as a filmmaker specifically?
Yeah, good question. See, from my childhood, I was taken to see good films. Like I came from Patna, so all my friends used to see Marpeet and Dishum wala films. Now my father decided that this guy needs like some education. Okay, fair enough. So he took me to see Namak Haram when I was 10 years old. I understood nothing of the film. क्या फिल्म दिखा रहा है लेकिन अच्छे गाने हैं ठीक है नदिया से दरिया हो रहा है मस्त हो गया and my mother she took me to see Mausam when I was 12 years old and I loved the film, so I had grown up, right? And when I was 13, I saw Chit Chor. After seeing the film, I thought, yaar, this is a very different kind of a humor, right? A very like Bengali middle class humor, like not the kind of humor where you see Mahmood jumping or like Johnny Walker like speaking in a very weird way, word palace, nothing of that sort. And it's a very something which is happening naturally. Sorry, this is a lovely film, love story है, लेकिन इतना मजेदार है, like love story. All the other love stories I've seen were all रोना धोना, भैं 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 करके सब रो रहा है ये तो. And then I saw छोटी सी बात, and I laughed and laughed and laughed. And frankly speaking, I became a huge fan of the middle of the road films, Rishikesh, Gulzar, Basuda. Now, I thought of writing a book on Rishikesh Mukherjee. I found that my friends Jay Arjun Singh and Ramesh, especially like Ramesh, had written an excellent book on Rishida. Gulzar ke बारे में तो सब कोई लिख रहा है, एक ही चीज बार बार हो जा रहा है. So Basuda, fortunately or unfortunately, I found very little literature on him. The reason is he was not media savvy, right? He was somebody who used to laugh like, it was like smile like, ये मुंह ये करके, like it was more of a grin. So maybe the media did not like him, or he did not like the media, whatever. And there was no literature on him. Then I thought, ठीक है, let me write it. That is how it happened.
So you have started writing books with the same speed that Vasudha would make his films. Especially the last two.
Anirudh, I have one question for you.
But any particular challenge, Anirudh, in this particular book?
No, I am extremely thankful that, I'm sorry to say, I apologize, that we had a lockdown and I did not have to go to the office. So I used to work up to 6 and start writing at night. Secondly, nobody wanted me to come down to Mumbai. So everybody answered the phone. तो नॉर्मली क्या होता, हाँ ये आप पहले यहाँ पर आ जाओ और उसके बाद आने के बाद फोन बंद है उसका. ऐसा था हम लोग. So everybody helped, and also I think most of the stars, like cast and crew who I interviewed, they really liked him, so they cooperated. So that helped.
So Anirudh, can we have the song now?
Well, I have one question to Anirudh. Just one question. Anirudh, I just observed. Couple of films like Priyatama, Shaukin, and maybe some more. I remember the titles of the credits are in Hindi. Was it consistent with all Basu Chatterjee movies? He only had Hindi language as the titles?
सारा आकाश हिंदी, पिया का घर हिंदी, रजनीगंधा हिंदी, छोटी सी बात हिंदी, चितचोर हिंदी, स्वामी हिंदी. From खट्टा मीठा it became bilingual. Shaukin, he again, yes, came back to Hindi. I don't know.
Yeah, just a question apiece. First, I don't know if I can ask for the line, or you should be friends, but Mr. Kapur, you talked of something. So I watched you play love letters. You were Shanaz Patel was sitting on the stage and just reading love letters through 2 hours. Amazing play. And you were turning around and coming back aged. Were you using boot polish again?
No, there was no polish there. But अभी तो बाल नहीं है. But when we did this play 35 years ago first, Act 1 used to be easy and Act 2 used to be very difficult, where we are all aging. Now when we did it last year in Japan, Act 1 was very difficult. And Act 2 was a cakewalk. So in Japan, just now in December, I had to use a wig for Act 1. I did not have a choice. फिर उसको blackout में मैं बीच में ऐसे निकाल देता था मैं.
Question to Anirudh. So we've been hearing about all these songs today, all these movies which are very real life. There's one movie which you did which is something hatke from all this. एक रुका हुआ फैसला, which is the 12 Angry Men, almost scene by scene copy. Personally, I like the Hindi one better. Henry Fonda and things a little dated. So what made him do that? It's not him, right?
It was Anu Kapoor's brother, Rajit Kapur, who wanted to do it. And he has given an extensive and exclusive interview for the book. All the details are there. I kept on chasing Annu Kapoor for over a year. So we went around in cycles. I am chasing him and he is chasing me. Nothing happened. And then I thought, छोड़ो यार, इसके छोड़ ही देते हैं. And somebody, I don't remember who, could be Orunita. She gave his brother's number. Why don't you contact him? I phoned him, and I think he wanted to speak. He gave a long interview, long. I have it completely recorded with me.
But
Very
incidentally, the play, which was written in the 1940s, because our theatre group is currently doing 12 Angry Jurors, and we've just performed in Japan, and just now in Feb again in Bombay, and we have shows in June. This play is now a case study for all law and management students all over the world. And even we performed it at the academy in Missouri for the IAS Academy of India, because it's part of the curriculum, you know, because of dealing with prejudice and conviction, which is part of management studies today. And how relevant after 80 years.
What happens in a boardroom? You know, it's a persuasion, it's an idea, persuasion, or of an idea, negotiation skills.
And he is an expert on that. He is one of the global leaders in PwC. He's a leader, so it does not work. But he makes others work.
I think this is the perfect segue.
Yes.
Yes, music.
End with you. You can sing us off this evening.
Okay. As we are remembering him, let me sing 2 lines about him. यादों में वो, यादों में वो, सपनों में है, जाए कहाँ, धड़कन का बंधन तो धड़कन से है, सांसों से हूँ मैं कैसे जुदा, अपनों को दूँ मैं कैसे भुला, यादों में वो, सपनों में है, जाए कहाँ, धड़कन का बंधन तो धड़कन से है. And like if all of you join me, I think all of you know this song. Hey hey hey, la 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 la. थोड़ा है थोड़े की जरूरत है, जिंदगी फिर भी यहाँ खूबसूरत है, थोड़ा है थोड़े की जरूरत है, हाँ जरूर